Look around you. Everywhere, the herd, blindly grazing, endlessly complaining, crumbling into dust at the slightest whisper of pressure. They call it life. I call it a cage. But you feel it, don't you? That gnawing instinct, deep in your gut. A primal hunger not just to survive, but to dominate. To carve your own damn path. To see the world not as a chaotic mess, but as a chessboard. And you, not a pawn, but the player, with a chillingly effective strategy. This isn't some saccharine self-help fantasy. This is the brutal truth about carving your own destiny. About shaking off the shackles of victimhood and becoming the predator you were meant to be. Today, we're not just dusting off history. We're unlocking the forbidden wisdom of Niccolò Machiavelli, the man they feared and revered because he dared to speak the unspeakable about human nature, raw power, and cold survival. This journey isn't about cheap manipulation or mindless cruelty. It's about awakening the wolf within you. It's about piercing clarity, unbreakable resilience, and the raw, terrifying power to navigate a world engineered to break the weak. The next 20 minutes will rip back the veil. By the end, you'll understand why audacity, ruthless strategy, and an unshakable sense of self aren't mere traits. They are weapons. And the final lesson, that one will shatter your perception and transform everything. Are you content being led? Are you satisfied just surviving? Or do you have the guts to lead? To dominate? Let's find out. From the dawn of civilization, the brutal game of power has gripped humanity. Who seizes it? How is it ruthlessly maintained? And what truly separates those who forge empires from those who dissolve into dust? Machiavelli, in his groundbreaking, incendiary work The Prince, laid bare insights that remain chillingly relevant centuries later. This isn't about deception for its own sake. It's about understanding the raw mechanics of life, stripped bare and playing the game with cold, calculated intent. Becoming the wolf among sheep begins with one fundamental truth, one you likely don't want to hear. Perception shapes reality. Machiavelli didn't mince words. He emphasized that how others perceive you is often more critical than your true intentions, or even your raw abilities. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, because it is given to everyone to see you, to few to come in touch with you." Let that sink in. Think about that. Your projected image, how you radiate confidence, undeniable competence, and unshakable strength, forms the very bedrock of your influence. Walk into any room. Who commands the air? Not always the loudest mouth, not always the one with the biggest title. It's the individual who radiates purpose, an iron grip of control, and a dangerous, quiet calm. Machiavelli wasn't advocating for deceit. He was stating a brutal necessity. True leaders, the ones who get this secret, know how to balance their authentic, untamed self with a chillingly strategic presence. But how do you forge this armor of perception? It begins with an honest, ruthless assessment of yourself. Your undeniable strengths, your crippling weaknesses, your unyielding core values, your deepest, darkest desires. A wolf doesn't apologize for its instincts, nor does it attempt to mimic a sheep. Embrace your unique, untamed traits. Amplify them. Sharpen them into a weapon. That's the first step to becoming a force no one can possibly ignore. Machiavelli also hammered home the chilling importance of adaptability. The weak cling to rigid dogma, to outdated maps in a constantly shifting landscape. But those who thrive are like water, fluid, formless, attuned to the brutal, ever-shifting currents of fortune. In his own words, "He who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise he whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not." A wolf knows precisely when to hunt, when to retreat into the shadows, and when to merely observe, silently gathering intelligence. In your life, this translates to being hyper-aware of your environment, constantly scanning for both threats and ripe opportunities, and adjusting your entire strategy on the fly, with ruthless precision. Imagine you're locked in a brutal struggle for that promotion. It's not enough to merely do your job well. The sheep simply does its job. The wolf, it shows formidable leadership, piercing vision, and an unshakable, terrifying resolve to conquer challenges. This isn't about stepping on others. It's about proving you possess the steel and foresight to command. The wolf understands timing. It understands decisive, immediate action. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Hesitation is a silent, insidious killer. It's the chasm between seizing a fleeting opportunity and watching it vanish into the void forever. This applies to every aspect of your existence, from the intimate dynamics of your relationships to the ruthless climb of your career. So, here's a direct, unsettling challenge for you. Look inward, into the darkest corners of your choices. In what areas of your life are you holding back, cowering, waiting for that mythical perfect moment that will never ever arrive? How can you take one bold, uncomfortable, terrifying action today to begin forging the reality you ruthlessly demand? Drop a comment below if you're ready to stare that question down. Finally, Machiavelli understood that being a wolf among sheep demands a delicate, often chilling balance of fear and respect. He famously asserted, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This statement, so often twisted into advocating for outright terror, is actually about commanding unwavering respect. It's about being taken seriously. When people perceive you as someone who cannot be easily manipulated, subtly undermined, or casually walked over, they are far more likely to respect your boundaries, your decisive actions, and your formidable presence. As we close this segment, pause. Look deep. What perception do you currently project into the world? Are you seen as a leader? Decisive, powerful, bold? Or do you find yourself fading into the indistinguishable crowd, crippled by the fear of standing out? Remember, perception isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's about aligning your outward image with the unleashed strength and the untamed, dangerous potential that already lies dormant, festering within you. In the next part, we're diving deeper into the ruthless strategies and cold mindset that will not only help you survive, but truly thrive in a world relentlessly designed to test your resolve. We will explore the chilling necessity of calculated risks, the brutal truth about forging alliances, and the laser focus required to seize your ultimate goals. Are you ready to unleash the wolf within you, fully? This path isn't for the weak of heart, but for those who dare to lead. The rewards are absolute and terrifying. True leadership and personal power extend far beyond mere appearances. They demand action rooted in deliberate, often cold, strategy. In a world chaotic and ruthlessly unpredictable, those who truly succeed are rarely just the strongest or the most intelligent. They are those with the audacity to take calculated risks. Machiavelli's teachings echo this brutal, undeniable truth. Fortune favors the bold. He famously wrote, "Fortune is a woman, and if you wish to master her, you must strike and beat her." This metaphor, aggressive as it sounds, carries a clear, sharp message. Life rewards those who take decisive, terrifying action, those who refuse to wait passively for opportunity to gently knock. Calculated risks are the brutal chasm that separates the wolf from the sheep. The sheep waits for the shepherd, for guidance, for comforting protection. The wolf, it charts its own terrifying, uncharted path, fully aware that every single decision carries both immense, undeniable reward and dire, unavoidable consequence. Machiavelli argued that those who achieve true, lasting greatness are willing to step into the terrifying unknown, to seize opportunities others are too paralyzed by fear to even glimpse. He called this virtù, a concept far beyond mere moral goodness, referring instead to the sheer strength, chilling courage, and ruthless resourcefulness required to seize and shape one's own destiny. Think back to a moment in your life when you hesitated, when you pulled back, paralyzed by the fear of failure, the sting of rejection. Perhaps it was a career pivot, a crucial, uncomfortable conversation, or chasing a dream society relentlessly branded as foolish. How might your life be radically different right now if you had acted with terrifying, unyielding boldness? Machiavelli reminds us, with cold logic, that the risk of inaction, of insidious stagnation, always outweighs the risk of a glorious failure. A failed attempt? That's a brutal lesson learned, a sharpening of your blade. Hesitation? That leaves you powerless, trapped in a cage of what-ifs. Yet, unbridled boldness alone is a recipe for catastrophic chaos. Machiavelli stressed the chilling, often overlooked importance of forging strategic alliances. No wolf thrives entirely in solitary isolation. Even the strongest leader requires the fierce support, the unwavering loyalty of a chosen, trusted few. Your success, your ascent, often hinges on the relationships you ruthlessly cultivate. Machiavelli advised rulers to surround themselves with wise counselors and fiercely loyal followers, understanding that mutual benefit and carefully earned trust are the unyielding cornerstones of enduring power. To apply this cold, hard principle to your own life, reflect with brutal honesty on the people you keep closest. Are they individuals who uplift your spirit, ruthlessly challenge your weaknesses, and amplify your growth? Or are they insidious leeches, draining your precious energy, dimming your internal light? Cultivating meaningful relationships means seeking out those who make you sharper, who share your hard-won victories, and stand unyielding in your darkest setbacks. The wolf's strength lies in its pack. Your strength lies in your carefully, ruthlessly chosen network. Another critical, non-negotiable pillar of Machiavelli's philosophy is unwavering focus. A wolf doesn't chase every rabbit it sees, scattering its precious energy. It chooses its prey with ruthless precision and strikes with deadly, terrifying accuracy. In life, this translates to setting crystal-clear, non-negotiable goals and fiercely resisting the endless, seductive distractions that scream for your attention. Machiavelli warned against rulers who grew complacent, who lost sight of their ultimate brutal objectives. Discipline and relentless determination, he believed, were the very lifeblood of maintaining power and unshakable influence. In our hyper-connected, hyper-distracted world, distractions are everywhere. The insidious pull of social media, the endless, meaningless notifications, the clamoring, irrelevant opinions of the nameless masses. They claw at your focus, relentlessly pulling you away from what truly matters. To embrace the wolf within, you must learn to prioritize, to ruthlessly cut away the noise, and to stay fiercely, obsessively true to your formidable vision. Ask yourself, with terrifying honesty, what are the 3 most important, non-negotiable goals in your life right now? Are your daily actions precisely aligned with achieving them? Or are you allowing trivialities to devour your precious, finite energy? Machiavelli also spoke of a brutal duality, the chilling necessity of facing challenges head-on with every facet of your being. He said, "The lion cannot protect itself from traps, and the fox cannot defend itself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." This duality, a terrifying fusion of cunning foresight and raw, untamed strength, is precisely what allows the wolf to navigate a complex, often ruthlessly hostile world. Being cunning like the fox means developing razor-sharp emotional intelligence, calculating strategic foresight. It means recognizing precisely when to be subtle, when to be brutally direct, when to speak with chilling impact, and when to remain utterly, hauntingly silent. Strength like a lion involves cultivating unbreakable resilience, raw, visceral courage, and an unyielding, terrifying will. Life will hurl obstacles into your path, designed to break you. The weak cower. The wolf. It learns, it adapts, and it grows stronger with every single, brutal challenge. Now, consider this brutal duality in your own existence. Are you leaning too heavily on one side, becoming unbalanced? Perhaps you're overly cautious, too much fox, missing critical, fleeting opportunities. Or too brash, too much lion, blindly walking into entirely avoidable, painful traps. How can you forge a terrifying, unshakable balance, embodying both qualities to seize your deepest, most primal desires? As this section concludes, think, what immediate unsettling actions can you take today to begin shifting your very mindset? Where can you unleash a calculated risk? What relationships demand strengthening, or perhaps brutal, uncompromising reevaluation? What insidious distractions must you eliminate to stay locked onto your formidable goals? In the next, terrifying part, we will tear into the deeper emotional and psychological aspects of true leadership and unbreakable resilience. We'll uncover how to absolutely master your emotions, wield chilling influence, and harness the terrifying, relentless power of perseverance. The path of the wolf is not easy. It is a bloody struggle, but for those willing to walk it, the rewards are profound and absolute. Leadership and unbreakable resilience are not simply about external action. They demand absolute, brutal mastery over your internal world. Machiavelli understood this with chilling clarity, delving not just into external strategies but into the very savage mechanics of the human mind. To be a true leader, whether over armies or your own damn life, you must first conquer yourself. The wolf thrives not because it is free from fear, but because it has learned to master that fear, channeling it into terrifying, singular focus and unyielding determination. One of Machiavelli's most profound, and often brutally overlooked, insights is the chilling necessity of emotional control. He noted that a ruler, or anyone in a position of formidable influence, must remain utterly composed, an unyielding rock in the face of any storm. He wrote, "A prince is also esteemed when he is a true friend and a true enemy." In other words, piercing clarity and decisive action stem directly from managing your emotions, knowing precisely when to act with calculated warmth and when to act with cold, unwavering, terrifying firmness. Think back to the last time you allowed raw anger, suffocating fear, or crippling doubt to dictate your actions. Did it propel you toward your goals, or did it merely cloud your judgment, leaving you weak, exposed? The wolf does not act impulsively. It observes with chilling patience. It plans with ruthless precision. It strikes at the precise, perfect, unassailable moment. This level of self-control begins with brutal, unflinching self-awareness, understanding your emotional triggers and learning to respond with intent, rather than simply reacting like a scared animal. Machiavelli also hammered home the strategic, often agonizing importance of patience. He believed that timing is often the deciding factor between triumph and utter, humiliating defeat. A wolf knows precisely when to be still, to wait in the shadows, conserving its precious, finite energy for the perfect, unmissable opportunity. In life, this chilling patience isn't passivity. It's the strategic preparation, the relentless, silent positioning, so that when the right moment finally screams for action, you are poised, ready to strike with lethal precision, an absolute, terrifying confidence. But emotional mastery isn't solely about cold, strategic control or agonizing waiting. It's also about relentless, brutal perseverance. Machiavelli understood that setbacks and failures are not just inevitable, they are guaranteed. What truly defines a leader, what separates them from the cowering herd, is the unyielding, terrifying ability to rise again, stronger, colder, more scarred, more determined. He observed, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." In essence, your raw resilience, your chilling ability to persist through the darkest, most shattering storms, defines your true strength far more than any fleeting external achievement. To embody this brutal resilience, you must reframe challenges. See them not as soul-crushing failures, but as brutal, invaluable opportunities for terrifying growth. When rejection hits, when disappointment crushes your spirit, when failure screams its bitter truth in your face, ask yourself, with cold, unflinching honesty, what precisely can I learn from this? How can this searing experience forge me into something stronger, something more dangerous, more effective? The wolf does not see failure as the end. It sees it as a chance to adapt, to evolve, to become an even more formidable, more effective predator. Another critical, non-negotiable aspect of Machiavelli's philosophy is the chilling ability to maintain unwavering influence over others. Leadership isn't about mere domination. It's about inspiration, about quiet, commanding, almost hypnotic guidance. He wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." This chilling, inescapable principle applies to all areas of your life. Your influence explodes, becoming formidable. When you uplift others, recognize their latent strengths, and align their individual goals with your own formidable, untamed vision. To build true, unshakable influence, scrutinize, with cold objectivity, how you communicate. Are your words piercingly clear, brimming with confident purpose? Do you listen as intensely, as strategically as you speak? Machiavelli believed that effective leaders are master communicators, capable of inspiring unyielding loyalty and unshakable trust. The wolf does not need to roar like the lion. Its silent, formidable presence alone commands absolute, chilling respect. Influence also demands consistency. People are drawn to leaders who are steady, utterly reliable, and fiercely, uncompromisingly true to their core principles. Machiavelli warned against inconsistency. It erodes trust, it weakens authority, it makes you tragically vulnerable. In your own life, ask yourself, right now, where can you embody relentless consistency, not only in your actions, but in your values, your decisive judgments, your very character? As we plunge deeper into the raw emotional and psychological dimensions of leadership, never forget the primal, terrifying power of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. That's ignorance. It is the unyielding ability to act despite it, to move forward with the fear burning in your gut. Machiavelli argued that leaders must take bold, audacious actions, even in the most terrifying, uncertain circumstances. He wrote, "Never was anything great achieved without danger." This statement serves as a chilling, brutal reminder that true greatness demands stepping into the unknown, facing your deepest fears head-on, and walking through the fire. So, how do you cultivate this terrifying, unyielding courage? Start by embracing discomfort. The wolf does not avoid the brutal harshness of the wild. It thrives in it, growing stronger with every bitter wind and every challenging hunt. Seek out opportunities to step, deliberately, out of your comfort zone, whether it's mastering a new skill that genuinely terrifies you, confronting a difficult, soul-crushing situation you've been avoiding, or pursuing long-held, audacious dream others scoff at. Each single act of raw courage strengthens your resilience, sharpens your resolve, and drags you, bleeding and unbowed, closer to your ultimate, formidable goals. As this section slams shut, reflect. Right now, how can you begin to utterly master your inner world today? How can you seize greater, chilling control over your volatile emotions, channeling them into piercing clarity and unwavering, lethal focus? What devastating setbacks in your life can you ruthlessly reframe as brutal opportunities for terrifying growth? And how can you inspire and lead others through relentless consistency, decisive, impactful communication, and unshakable, primal courage? The final, most transformative lesson from Machiavelli's teachings. A principle that can forever change how you approach challenges, opportunities, and your own destiny. The journey isn't over. The most powerful revelation is still to come. The journey to becoming the wolf among the sheep reaches its chilling, undeniable pinnacle with one final, profound principle. The raw, terrifying power of taking full, absolute ownership of your life. Machiavelli believed that true strength erupts from understanding that no external force, no shifting circumstance, no fleeting individual, no fickle stroke of fortune holds ultimate, unyielding authority over your destiny. He famously declared, "Each man is the artisan of his own fortune." This principle encapsulates the very essence of his philosophy and the terrifying mindset of the wolf: ruthless self-reliance, absolute, unwavering accountability, and unrelenting, bloody-minded determination. To fully embody this mindset, you must first shatter the insidious illusion of controlling everything around you. Machiavelli acknowledged that luck and unpredictable external factors do play a role in life's brutal outcomes. But he argued, with cold, undeniable logic, that it is always within your power to respond, to adapt, to ruthlessly shape these chaotic circumstances to your advantage. The wolf does not lament the biting cold or curse the raging storm. It finds shelter. It adjusts its strategy, and it continues to move forward relentlessly with unyielding purpose. This principle begins with brutal, unflinching accountability. To take absolute ownership of your life, you must cease blaming others, cease blaming external factors for your failures. Machiavelli saw excuses as the pathetic refuge of the weak, those unwilling to confront their own crippling shortcomings or take raw responsibility for their choices. The wolf, in stark, chilling contrast, takes responsibility for every decision, every action, and every single outcome. It understands that while it cannot control the environment, it can always control its response to it, with cold, calculated intent. Think about a challenge you faced recently. Did you approach it with a sense of ownership, a primal, burned desire to conquer, to dominate? Or did you allow raw frustration or corrosive blame to cloud your judgment, rendering you weak, paralyzed? To take ownership means asking yourself, with a chilling, unforgiving clarity, what precisely can I do to change this situation? How can I adapt? How can I overcome? With ruthless efficiency. This mindset not only empowers you but forges unbreakable resilience and unshakable, terrifying confidence. Another critical, chilling facet of this principle is self-reliance. Machiavelli warned against insidious dependence on others, whether for fleeting approval, for comforting guidance, or for a false, fragile sense of security. He wrote, "A wise prince sought to rely on what is his own, not on what is another's." This doesn't mean isolating yourself or rejecting a strategically offered hand. It means cultivating the brutal skills, the piercing knowledge, the unbreakable inner strength to stand firm, solitary, and self-sufficient when others cannot or will not support you. Self-reliance demands constant, relentless growth. The wolf is always learning, always sharpening its instincts, always preparing for the next brutal, inevitable challenge. In your life, this means investing ruthlessly in yourself, whether through relentless education, unforgiving personal development, or forging skills that enhance your absolute independence. Ask yourself, with cold, piercing honesty, in what areas of my life am I too dangerously dependent on others? How can I take concrete, immediate steps to become more self-sufficient, more formidable, more untouchable? Machiavelli's final, chilling lesson also emphasizes the absolute, non-negotiable importance of clarity and an unyielding, almost terrifying focus on your ultimate, singular goals. He argued that leaders must not only possess a vision, but also the terrifying, ruthless resolve to pursue it relentlessly, at any cost. The ends justify the means, he famously wrote, a statement so often twisted, so often fundamentally misunderstood. Machiavelli did not advocate for random, mindless, unethical behavior. He advocated for an unwavering, almost obsessive commitment to one's formidable purpose, even in the face of brutal obstacles or difficult, profoundly uncomfortable decisions. To embody this principle, you must define your vision with crystal, terrifying clarity. What do you truly primarily want in this life? What are your long-term, non-negotiable goals? And what cold, hard, uncomfortable steps are absolutely necessary to achieve them? The wolf does not wander aimlessly. It moves with singular purpose, driven by a primal, unyielding understanding of its needs and desires. Once your formidable vision is clear, commit to it with an unwavering, almost frightening focus. But this clarity also demands the brutal ability to let go of what no longer serves you. Machiavelli observed that clinging to outdated strategies or hollow parasitic alliances often leads to inevitable downfall. The wolf knows precisely when to release what is no longer beneficial, whether it's a territory, a draining relationship, or an approach that has long outlived its usefulness. In your life, consider what habits, what debilitating beliefs, what soul-sucking connections you may need to ruthlessly sever to move forward, to become stronger, more dangerous. Finally, Machiavelli taught that embracing uncertainty is absolutely essential for true, terrifying greatness. He wrote, "Fortune changes, but she still keeps the same nature. Life is an unpredictable, chaotic, brutal storm. But the wolf thrives in uncertainty, because it sees change not as a crippling threat, but as a relentless, unforgiving opportunity." To fully embrace the wolf's mindset, you must develop the raw, unshakable courage to step into the terrifying unknown, trusting in your own primal, terrifying ability to adapt, to learn, to grow stronger through the crucible of chaos. As we conclude this raw, unsettling journey, reflect on the brutal, non-negotiable lessons we've uncovered. From mastering perception and relentless adaptability to cultivating absolute emotional control, forging unshakable influence, and taking full, unyielding, terrifying ownership. These principles form the very foundation of the wolf's mindset. Machiavelli's teachings remind us, with cold clarity, that greatness is not reserved for some chosen, gilded few. It is within reach for anyone willing to rise above crippling fear, embrace brutal, scarred resilience, and take deliberate, powerful, uncompromising action. Now I leave you with one final, haunting, undeniable question. Are you ready to awaken the wolf within you? To truly unleash it? The choice is yours, and yours alone. And the time is now. Take ownership. Act with chilling purpose. Lead with unyielding strength. In doing so, You will not only navigate the brutal complexities of life with an unshakable, terrifying confidence, but you will also inspire others, the worthy few, to rise alongside you, drawn by your formidable light. The wolf thrives because it dares to lead, to adapt, and to relentlessly persevere. So too can you. Like this video if you're ready to embrace the brutal truth. Subscribe to Miradox Human to unlock more uncomfortable insights that will forever change your damn life. Thanks for looking.